Hi friends, hope you're doing fine. Today I'm narrating a summary from the book Effortless by Greg McKeown. Effortless offers actionable advice for making the most essential activities the easiest ones so you can achieve the results you want without burning out. The main points are: number 1, invert to avoid overwhelm. Second, reduce the lag indicator to make the essential effortless. Point number 3, start the first obvious action. Point number 4, start with rubbish to progress. And point number 5, establish an upper bound limit. Invert to avoid overwhelm. In this, the author shares an experience where a company invited him to present an audience on leadership. However, due to his over-preparedness, he bombed. In his own words, he mentions that it was my most humiliating professional failure ever. He realized later that trying too hard makes it harder to get the result you want. This is because we are all conditioned to believe that we must also overdo if we are to overachieve. As a result, we make things harder for ourselves than they need to be. The author invites the reader to look at the problems from the opposite perspective and ask, what if this could be easy, as a mean to reset one's thinking. He calls this idea effortless inversion, and while rooted in problem solving, is helpful in one or the other areas too. Reduce the lag indicator to make the essential effortless. British activist Jane Tweeson brought charity and comedy together as a way to make giving easier. As a result, Red Nose Day has managed to raise $1 billion for the most disadvantaged people in Africa and depressed areas within the UK. The author writes that we all have things we like to do and things we don't, but most of us do due to their importance. He adds that while not every essential activity is enjoyable, we can make them so when we reduce the lag indicator. It's no secret that many essential activities that are not particularly joyful in the moment produce moments of joy later on. But essential activities don't have to be enjoyed only in retrospective. We can also experience joy in the activity itself. By pairing essential activities with enjoyable ones, such as listening to a particular podcast while washing the dishes after dinner, we can make the tackling even the most tedious and overwhelming task more effortless and enjoyable. Start the first obvious action. Eric Ries invites startup entrepreneurs to build a minimum viable product, a version of a new product which allows a team to collect the maximum amount of validated learning about the customers with the least amount of effort. Reed Hastings validated his idea for an over the top of the content platform when he mailed himself a DVD. The founder of Airbnb posted a few photos of their apartment on a simple web page to test the startup's proof of concept. Author posed that while in common entrepreneurship, one can apply the same idea to any essential goals. He writes, instead of procrastinating, wasting enormous amounts of time and effort planning for a million possible scenarios, we can opt for taking the minimum viable first action, the action that will always allow us to gain the maximum learning from the least amount of effort. When you are struggling to name the first obvious action, either make it a little easier to get started on what's important now or make it a little harder to do something trivial instead. The first obvious action is similar to a James Clear idea behind the atomic habit and BJ Fogg's insistence to make new habits super simple to start. For more on this initial efforts, read the book and get more ideas so that you can learn more. Start with rubbish to progress. In the book Atomic Habits, author James Clear recounts a surprising story. On the first day of the class, professor divides his film photography students into two groups. He explained that everyone on the left side of the classroom would be in the quantity group and he would grade them on the amount of work they produced. Meanwhile, everyone on the right side of the room would be in the quality group. Their grades would be contingent on the excellence of their work. At the end of the term, he was surprised to find that the quantity group produced all the best photos. It is easy to get bogged down trying to find the optimal plan for change. James Clear mentions that we are so focused on figuring out the best approach that we never get around to take action. The author further explains that and expands on the James Clear ideas, arguing that overachievers tend to struggle with the notion of starting with the rubbish due to holding themselves to a high standard of perfection at every stage in the process. To make effortless progress on what matters the most, we must fail cheaply by making learning sized mistakes. Establish an upper bound limit. In 1996, Southwest Airlines declined offers from several major cities to expand its services to its locations. The reason was not due to insufficient funds, but rather its leaders had added an upper bound limit to its growth. Author later discusses about a musician friend who decided to write a book about her songs. The artist was prolific with 3,000 songs, 101 albums, and 9 cantatas to her name. Her approach was to choose 100 pieces and write 2 stories a week. When she finished 2 stories, she would stop work for the week. Even she had the energy and appetite to write more. 2 stories a week was her upper bound limit. Within 9 months, her book was finished and sent to the publisher. The author writes that when it comes to our desired outcomes, all progress is not created equal. We all mean well and have the right intentions, but life is complex and very uncertain. And for that reason, we cannot commit to an even pace. That will always be outside of our control. To make progress, we need to choose the right range and keep within it. The upper bound limit should be high enough to constitute a group and a good progress, but not so high as to leave us feeling exhausted. Set an effortless pace. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. If you're interested to watch such inspirational and knowledgeable summaries which can transform your life, then hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more updates.